is in a prove-it year for the Cowboys. The Athletic put out 5 Dallas Cowboys that are heading into massive prove-it years. Do we agree with the names on this list? And we start with the offensive line, and actually a player we were just talking about off-air, Tyler Biadasz. And we'll throw Terence Steele into this conversation as well, the center and right tackle. Biadasz and Steele, and both have been starting for the last couple of years, but this is kind of a big year if they want to make sure that they maintain their starting position along the offensive line. This might be it. If they can't get it done, the Cowboys might have to look at improving right tackle and center, but certainly they could be looking at getting long-term deals in the future if both of them can perform.
Let me take you back to the year 2011, Brian. You were there in Oxnard, California, and we were watching offensive linemen that we were hopeful about, like Montre Holland and Kyle Kozer and Phil Costa, and we hoped they could do it. But, really what it took for the Cowboys was, drafting guys high in order to find players who were capable of having your trust for an extended period of time. And right now, I just look at both these guys like Biadasz and Steele as just placeholders that we're hoping can do a pretty good job until a real force comes back into that position, probably fairly soon over the next couple of off seasons.
Yeah, you could have maybe drafted the center, if you wanted to. If you wanted to take Linderbaum, the kid from Iowa. We'll see how he ends up with the Ravens. But you're going to have to. I'm to the point now where I'm all about the offensive line play. I'm all about spending the money on offensive linemen. I just think there's just so much when you talk about the people like to say the engine of the team. That's your offensive line. And so when you're good, and everybody say, well, you can't be good at all 5. No, you can. You really can. If you draft well, and it doesn't have to be all first round guys. But if you have a feel, look what they've done in Philadelphia. Philadelphia's rebuilt their offensive line, and it hasn't been all first-round guys. Mm-hmm. You're capable of doing that. So we talk about Will McClay, this front office, their ability to draft. They seem to be able to draft first-round offensive linemen, but some of the other rounds haven't been. So I am all about that. If you tell me the rebuild or how I'm doing everything in my power to make sure I have the strongest 5 guys I can get. And if I have to pay a few of them, I'm willing to do that because I just feel like it's such a major part of what you're trying to do with your football team.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to Terence Steele, unless this guy just takes a massive jump and it's like, wow, he really is playing like an upper echelon tackle, he's good for you while he's cheap. The second you've got to pay him, I'm looking to move on. The whole selling point for Terence Steele is you're getting him at a bargain price, and he's giving you a starting right tackle. When you got to start paying him like he's a top 15 paid tackle in the league, sayonara. I'm moving on and finding an upgrade.
If you can get a real budget and you've decided, hey, at this point, we can only have 4 great offensive linemen and Terence Steele is, a factor in the run game, I'm willing to be open-minded about it. They got Jaron Kearse at a huge bargain that I didn't think was possible.
If it's a big discount, sure, no question. Well, do you guys think this is a prove-it year for Tyron Smith? Because he's also mentioned in this article. Like, if
got to prove he's healthy.
Yeah, if this doesn't work out this year for Tyron, could this be the last season of his career?
I think if Tyron Smith made a lot more money as one of these offensive tackles that we see in today's football, I think he is so cheap that they're willing to let him miss 3 games every year, and they're okay with it. Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's a prove-it year. They know exactly what they have in the player, but they also know that, hey, we pay him basically for 13 games. Works out for us pretty well.
I think to Brian's point, if he continues in the 3 to 5 game range, yes. But if it's a year where there's nagging neck and ankle and knee and he misses more games than 5 or so, then I think you could get to a point where you're like, guys, it's just getting a little bit worse every year and it's time to move on, especially if there's, a player on your team like Tyler Smith who might be able to handle that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a world where this could be Tyron Smith's last year.
And the 817 agrees. They put, surprisingly, Tyron Smith on their list of players. But it's not
because of his money. It's because of his health, right?
100%.
Yeah, and I think my point is that's why I think they keep him around. Because, every year they vote him to that, whether they like it or not, they vote him to the top 100 team.
Sure.
And you're like going, okay, well, you see it's going down, 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 down. But then you're like, well, he's one of the cheapest offensive tackles salary-wise, and he's going to miss 3 games. by the way, having him in there, man, you're going to get this from
We've seen him be shaky, though. He was shaky against the Niners. Give me an injury year and a shaky year, and it's like, even though you're only making half of the league value for your position, which is insane, it might still not be worth it.
If he was making, say, Zeke money or something like that, we would be all over him right now.
No question.
That. But the fact that he's like, well,
the Cowboys probably would have moved on.
Yeah, I think so.
Let me throw 2 more names in the secondary, one of which, Eric, your favorite player from 2 years ago.
Donovan Wilson.
Yeah.
This is one of he's in one of those weird years where he could, if he has a monster year, he could go get himself some money somewhere, because I think he's in the final year of his contract, if I'm not mistaken. So he's one of those deals. It's like, okay, are you just going to be one of these guys who is a minimum kind of player and you'll get picked up and you'll be fighting on teams, or are you going to set yourself apart and go get a little bit of money here? Because you saw in 2020, he's the kind of guy that can bring splash plays to your defense with his hard hits and his ability to jar the football loose, force fumbles. We saw him blitzing and sacking the quarterback. Like, I don't even think he played that bad last year. He just missed games due to injury. If you stay healthy, Donovan Wilson, I think you're talking about a really solid player.
And then Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown's trying to make sure, as good as he was last year, when you got guys like Deron Bland, and look, we've been very critical of Kelvin Joseph and Sean Wright, but eventually they keep drafting these young guys. Anthony Brown's going to be in a contract year. Is he trying to prove that he ends up keeping a spot on this team next year, or gets a big payday from somebody else next year?
I think he gets paid from somebody else.
Yeah, he's a really good corner.
He is a great corner, I think, for what he's done. You look at all the metrics, they say that about him. So I think he could get paid from somebody else. I really do.